Trying to escalate the game every time I do this, man. What's going on, everybody? It's the Screaming Eagle. VP David Wells here with you again. Another fine edition of the podcast, round 3. Here we go, talking week 1 football. The regular season is underway for Fleming Island, and it started off with a bang. There were a couple of bangs down at Clay, but I think that might have been speakers popping in and out.
Or air horns.
Yeah, there were a lot of air horns, too. Oh, my goodness. Dave, we did it. Got on the road test number 1 of 3 early in the season. Absolutely put on a clinic against Clay with a run game. And what were some of your takeaways from this Tallahassee game down there in Green Cove?
Well, being able to run the ball first and foremost. We saw the preview, same as last year as we did this year. The formula to win is going to be to run, play effective defense. It was very sloppy at the beginning of the game. Lots of mental errors, in between the ears mistakes, but that got cleaned up quickly. After a nice little goal line stand from the Golden Eagles, the defense turned it around for the entire team. The offense finally got it going. Mustafa Marshall held down the fort in the beginning of the first quarter, and Sam Singleton did the show.
Does what Sam does. Yes, we're going to get into some highlights and talk some game statistics in just a couple of minutes. But our first road test in the books, very good showing. And again, I would agree, very sluggish start. A kind of a throwback to the 2021 team where we saw lots of penalties, lots of mental errors, and we were all nervous, not going to lie. We were terrified, like, oh, no, please, boys, after all of this work you've put into it and a really good showing against Westside. And then to see that happen. But they righted the ship. Defense, once again, proves that it wins championships. And that was some championship-level stuff from Fleming Island. So let's start taking a look at a couple of the highlights and get things going. First things first, though, we have to talk about some of that disaster that almost took place. Fleming goes down on 4th down, lines up the punt, and then just when you thought you were already in trouble, it got a little worse.
40. Jamani on his own 10. High snap. It's going to slip through his hands. This is absolutely disastrous as Jamani is going to fall on the ball at the 1-yard line.
I mean, at this point, heart was sinking down into chest. I thought for a second,
yeah,
the same team that it was last year. I know that there's so much growth. We saw the potential and things that came out of the spring game and from the preseason classic, what was going on, but as soon as these things get fixed, it's going to be a lot sharper version of Fleming Island. And I think they can clean it up a little bit, but they have the tools to be a very, very good team.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the things we talked about last week and at the top of the broadcast was the importance of special teams and the importance of the long snapper executing on those, long snap plays. Now, luckily, we didn't miss a single extra point last week, which was excellent. So they fixed that problem. Eventually, everybody got settled down. It really looked like Fleming was in the middle of some nerves, some first game jitters on the road, lots of energy, lots of attention. Clay County game of the week. Most of Green Cove Springs was probably at that game, and the Fleming Island student section filled their little box. Plenty of Fleming fans out there. The bands were out. A lot of attention because of the Ascension St. Vincent's Cup being awarded at the half. So lots of buzz going on with this game. But luckily, even inside the 5-yard line, Clay could not perform on offense against the Fleming Island defense, and it led to a Brendan Cook blocked field goal.
About a 20-yarder, and it's blocked.
I mean, just a great run around the perimeter from Brendan Cook, coming on the outside and just laying out. Just you could hear the la as he hits the ball with his hands, and just a great stand by Fleming Island at that point to play defense, allow the no score, and get right back out to the 20-yard line and go to work.
I'm pretty sure it's obvious who the alpha of that defense is. Abram Wright had 2 stops on that defensive series and was absolutely dominant, flying around all game. But dudes like Cook stepped up all game long, and being able to see him and Caleb Singleton as well be skill position players that can contribute at a high level. It's something we didn't particularly see last year, and we're looking to see more this year. So yeah, good for them.
Speaking of the defense, they weren't without turnovers this past week, We did get one, and it was an awesome one. And I want to tell you, this was the best game of Hunger Hippos I've ever seen. Tyler Williams gets in on this fumble recovery.
Colbert will come to the right, but the handoff to Williams. Ball came loose. Not sure who got on it. Fleming Island says they have. Let's wait and see. And
that's a turnover, baby. Golden Eagles pop it loose. The
Tyler Williams celebrates his trophy. Good for you, kid.
I mean, what a dive in on that play. You couldn't have asked for a better fumble recovery. I mean, just knocking a ball loose and jumping right on top of it. And that was the limit of the turnovers. But, you know, again, doing what they need to do to get the ball back in their offense's hands. Plenty of stops, lots of 3-and-outs. Clay's punting game wasn't great, so Mustafa didn't really get a chance to have any electricity on the kick return game. So, you know, much beyond that, it was very much all about the offense this past week, David.
Absolutely. I hope that earns Tyler Williams some more playing time as well. He's started last week ahead of Walker Whidden, and Walker's a bigger, more physical dude, but Tyler looks like he's a heady player. It's in the right place at the right time and has some speed to him too. So good for him to do that. The offense did showcase itself, and it was a phenomenal showing by not only the running backs, but also by Cibastian Broughton. He had a couple strikes deep down the field that were pretty impressive. He was able to elude a lot of pressure. Hopefully he doesn't have to have that much in his face next time to be able to escape and throw down the field. But he made 2 or 3 good throws, one in particular to Dakota Rowe that got called back. But it showed a lot of leadership on his part to be able to lead the team down the field and keep everybody accountable. There was some times where a rivalry game got a little bit chippy, and he was one of the first ones to pull guys away and be not necessarily the enforcer, but a very high standard set for the team.
No, that's the leadership that we were talking about from Cibastian. One of the things we wanted to see was for him to be that field general, that motivator, and that's exactly what he did. Not to mention he could throw the ball too. Check this out, 85 yards.
Gun. Broughton, 2-step drop. He'll be flushed in. Throw down the field. He's got Dominic there. No, it's caught.
Cook, go
all
Cook.
The way down to the 20.
Get in there.
Into the end zone for a touchdown is Brendan Cook.
Brendan Cook on all sides of the ball yesterday, or Friday rather, just nail it, blocking field goals, scoring touchdown passes. That quite possibly was the throw of a lifetime for Cibastian Broughton.
Oh, he got everything under that. A little double crow hop and a sidearm throw. I never thought he could spin it that easy down the field, but you know, I was proven wrong and very happy for the guy. You know, he's got accolades to be a college quarterback in the future, and it's good to see that he's got the ability and he's got the weapons to go down the field and stretch the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a fantastic throw, great step up, you know, and a good showing. And it's not the end of the Cibastian Broughton highlights either. My mistake here. I almost forgot about that one in the clips, and there he goes.
Great blocking upfield. He's across the 30, still on his feet, heading to the sideline at the 20. He is going to be forced out of bounds near the stick.
Sweet feet.
And this time, yep.
Touchdown.
No, I'm just dancing around there, and the worm kind of
showing you. Can we hit it again by any chance? You got to show the blocks to these cats.
Here we go.
There's blocks down the field here that are just great.
Look at this. One clean, everything.
And here's the other one.
Right there. Boom. Is that Cook? Yep, that's Cook. Cook all over the place.
Blocking down the field.
And this time, yep.
Touchdown.
Yeah. That was a team run by the Golden Eagles on that play. You cannot ask for more than that from your offensive line, any receivers downfield. So, you know, if you had to pick a player of the game, you know, there's a couple of options on this one. We'll do some of that towards the end of our recap here. But, you know, Brendan Cook all over the doggone field and just doing big things on all sides of the ball. Practice. I mean, he might have even played defense late, and we didn't know it because the Clay offense wasn't really moving all that well. The big question that we had last week going into the game, where's Sam? He changed numbers on us, which got us all confused. He's now wearing number 2 this year. But we're looking around, and he didn't start the game, and we didn't really get much information as to why he didn't start. But nonetheless, the Sam Singleton show was rolling, and the 4-star FSU commit did his thing. Only had 2 big touchdown carries, a couple of carries in the game, but only really got in for about 65 yards. And the first one had everybody going, who is that man? Reggie Bush? Well, come on, Cletus. Technology.
Well, he was out there. Like, the biggest important thing is he's out there, he's healthy, he's ready to go
Stays
against
in as the back.
next week's opponent.
Here we go.
Darian Dominic wide to the right. They'll give it to Singleton. Stutter step. He'll break through a couple of tacklers.
Move.
Still on his feet at the 10, heading toward the flag. He is close, but I think he may be about a yard shy.
Nope, they're going to score it. That's a touchdown.
That's a touchdown.
And I get to do it for the first time this season. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sam Singleton Show.
That's right. It's my favorite
You got to
program to
throw
watch.
it in there, don't you? Yeah.
My favorite program to watch on Friday nights. You know what? I'm gonna hit it again. I can't help it because that was just I forget it. We can watch it on social media. I've got it posted out there. But that's one of those runs, man. You're like, mama, there go that man again. Just what a nasty cut inside, and then the leap a la Reggie Bush over the pylon to get into the touchdown. This dude. Now I know why he calls himself at Sweet Feet 23 on Twitter. That's why, because he just does a little dance. And it's just enough, and nobody can keep up with him. Once he gets in the open field, just goodbye.
Oh, absolutely. And I wonder if we're going to see a little FaceTime of the Florida State head coach Norvell if we get down to Tallahassee.
I don't know. They might already be on their way to Louisiana at that point. But
oh, that's fair. They play in New Orleans the next day.
Yeah, so nice that he ended up doing it twice with Sam Singleton. And we're going to get my clips right here in a second. This is all very much fun. Let's see if we got that going. Nope. I'll tell you what. We're going to do it this way. The best laid plans. But anyway, this is Sam's 43-yard run. And this one was also lights out. And the blocking on this one was stupendous.
Oh, blocking all night was terrific by offensive line.
Handed to Singleton again. He'll head over the
What
left
a
side.
hole.
Big hole. Still on his feet as he crosses the 20, the 15. He's going to stride all the way into the end zone for a touchdown.
Now, we didn't get it.
He's a 100-meter runner, and if you give him that straight line alley, it's pretty easy for him to hit the gas and go.
Yeah, and what's funny is that we didn't get it on our feed. Of course, I don't think Robert got the angle on it, but I happened to get it, and I don't have it here, but you can go to the Channel 4 News for Jacks YouTube channel, and they posted the Friday night highlights of Fleming and Clay. And at the end of that run, he dashes into the end zone and gives a little tomahawk chop. So a little preview of things to come. Yes, no, I was absolutely thrilled to see that one. So, but not to be outdone by Sam Singleton was the rest of the running back core, and everybody got a hand on this one. Tayshawn Smith had an excellent run to set up a 2-yard touchdown. Take a look at this 25-yarder.
Nope, and they're going to stay on the field, and I don't think they're called timeout just yet.
Smith stays in as the back. Dominic right. And it's Smith, big hole up the middle. He's heading toward the house. He's still on his feet. He's rumbling, and he's close to the end zone. Will he get there? And he does. Touchdown, Fleming Island.
And that was close. They actually marked him down at the 1-yard line.
I believe.
But no, another big run. Tayshawn doing his thing, and, of course, rewarded right away with that quick touchdown run.
He's in as the back, and I say give it to him.
Oh, absolutely.
He deserved it.
Give the senior a touchdown.
Not quite the Screaming Eagle formation, but close.
And they'll hand it to
Oh,
Smith.
for those of you that don't know, the Screaming Eagle is a variation of the Wildcat from a season ago where they brought in defenders like Abram Wright and Jace Edwards and Joel Robinson and ran a power play up the middle. And I was asking BP what he wanted to call it or what we should call it. And I spat out 2 or 3 probably average, mediocre names. And he came up with the Screaming Eagle. And it's the namesake of the podcast. And something that we saw a couple times in the year was that formation. It was really effective in getting first downs in short yard situations. So something we hold near and dear to us is the Screaming Eagle.
Yeah, well, that big set too. It's always a wonderful one at pay dirt there. Just another average night for Mustafa Marshall. I mean, you can't argue with a 37-yard touchdown run. That was one of a couple good runs he had, but this is the one that he scored on.
And they'll hand it to Marshall again, and over left tackle, he's got a big hole.
And again,
He's
the blocking,
broken a couple
stupendous.
Of tackles, still on his feet, heading toward the end zone, and Mustafa Marshall is into the end zone
Touchdown.
for a 37-yard touchdown run.
blocking on those
It's just
run
the
plays.
offensive line play in general. The offensive line play
Yeah.
in general is going to be the difference between making a run into the playoffs and not. And this year, just the poundage across the board, it looks like they're averaging 20 pounds heavier per person and still maintaining a level of athleticism. I think it's pretty clear that the strength coach has been working with him quite a lot. He's also the director of bonding, is Coach Charles. So I think that he does an awesome job with these kids and making sure they're well conditioned and ready to go. I think the offensive line lasted way into the fourth quarter, being ready to rock and roll.
Absolutely, and they sure did. Tyler Beverly got into the action late in the third quarter and on into the fourth quarter. Here's a 22-yarder. And again, great block. Look at the big man, 6'5" over there, running around the edge of the formation.
Big yardage as he will pound his way all the way down inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, let's take a look at that again, and look at number 65 on the edge here. Now, it's not often that you see this in high school football. This is Hayden Compton on the outside, but look at this pull that he does here. I mean, look on the edge, and he just comes right around. And you got a convoy at that point, and when you have a rushing, crew like Beverly, Marshall, Smith, and Singleton, and you've got your big man pulling on the outside. Again, let's pull it back here. But look at him come across the formation and then out into the open field. After that, it's a convoy of just beef, and you're running behind it. And it's no wonder that, he didn't score the touchdown, only because they managed to bring him down with a little bit of pursuit. But my goodness, what a great set of a good blocking scheme in general on that play.
Well, I'm glad to see that the Fleming Island attack is more than just gap and duo, which means offensive line goes in a straight direction with their double team working to the linebackers. They have a more complex scheme where they pull to the end man on the line of scrimmage, or they pull to that first backer available. In that case, the offensive guard pulls across formation, looks into the hole, doesn't see anybody, and continues to run downfield to the first available threat. So it's nice to see that even if something doesn't go exactly right, they have some way to say, hey, I'm going to still contribute in this play. I'm still going to find somebody to engage with, still be fast and physical and play in space.
Yeah, just great awareness all around, too. And, of course, Tyler Beverly got to finish the job at the start of the fourth quarter, and that pretty much ended the scoring for Fleming.
Right side, and Tyler Beverly will get in for the touchdown.
Just walked in. No chance.
One of those blocks there. Same guy. Compton.
Yeah, let's back that up. Let's see if we can see him here around the corner. Yeah, there he is again. Same run.
Find somebody.
They ran the same play, it almost looks like.
Nice.
Clay never keyed on it. So, wow, that's something. So, good job. That's our big man of the week. That's 2 in a row.
There we
We've
go.
got big men making big
Shouting
plays.
out the big men.
That's
Important.
right. That's what I want. I need a telestrator for stuff like that. Really, to be able to just circle it. But no, just a great game overall. Fleming Island sluggish to start the first few minutes, but after that, it was nothing doing. And you're looking at the game stats here right now. Cibastian Broughton didn't throw very much. 4 of 6, 115 yards. The run game, though, split across all 4 running backs, 260 yards of rushing offense and just about every touchdown. Total offense of 375 yards, no turnovers, very efficient on third down when they got there at 3 of 5. Clay, on the other hand, well, the defense just was too much. Only 68 yards passing. They held Clay to 17 yards rushing. That's lights out. Defense, 85 yards total offense. The fumble recovery and extremely good defense on third down for the Golden Eagles, holding everybody to 0-7. So what a big night for the boys as the lights went down. Oh, the sun went down, the lights went on. The rain finally stopped. Lightning delay again this week. We're praying that this is not the case for the Rickards game. Yes, if you're going to do it at like noon. But nonetheless. So, again, great game. And got to look forward to the Smurf turf in Rickards right now. So let's start talking about the road to Tallahassee and a quick stop at Sam Singleton's future destination. I guarantee he won't be the last Golden Eagle player to grace FSU's campus. But, Dave, what's the perspectives on these guys at Rickards this year? What are we up against?
So last year they went 6-5. They had a couple players leave that are significant college football players. One that did go to Florida State and is enrolled now as a freshman. But Rickards, for the most part, is a speed-based team. They have a couple defensive backs with college offers. 2 that are offered to UMass, and also have a wide receiver that's committed right now to Oklahoma. So they have plenty of talent, lots of speed. I also have a blocking tight end named Jalen Wiggins, who's caught a couple more passes this year than he did last year. So they lost their opening game. They lost their opening game to at St. Paul. They lost 35-3. So only a 2-point loss there. They're going to look to avenge that against a very tough opponent in Fleming Island, somebody who they're particularly matched up to play. They want to go challenge you deep vertically, which last year was an issue for Fleming Island. And they don't necessarily have a great scoring threat with quarterback play, but they are going to have weapons on the outside, and they're going to look to try to play everything in front of them as far as a defensive perspective. But as long as we run the ball and play defense like we normally do, it's the kind of formula that works with any team and any opponent.
How much do you think that a long road trip is going to impact the boys this week, David?
I think it was a little bit shorter than the Buchholz game, but I'm not sure that it's going to be too much of a big deal for them. I think that the blue turf, if anything, is going to throw them off more than anything else. I told Ray when we were off air that I can't wait to hear the "Don't adjust your television, folks." It's a little bit different. It's a turf feel, so sometimes cutting is a little bit different. It's high school football. You're not going to have an extra pair of cleats, but sometimes it's nice to go with the low cut cleats instead of the deeper turf cleats that help you plant into wet grass instead of dry turf.
Yeah.
So there's some adjustment to where they're going to play. I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal how long the distance is from home.
Yeah. Don't adjust your TV set. Really.
New one. I like
Gonna
it.
have to buzz you out on that one. So,
All right, fair.
That is, yeah, that did not compute. Anyway, nonetheless, well, with that being said, and the Smurf turf notwithstanding, some keys to the game from both of us here. David, I'll go ahead and let you start as is tradition here. What are the keys for Fleming Island to get a victory over in Tally?
Containing the speed and controlling the ball. I really do think that our corners have developed and stepped up a little bit. They're a lot better. Lewis on the outside and Singleton, they're both fully capable of shutting down some teams' number one receiver. They might need a little bit more help with this one, especially with going against Keon Brown as their Oklahoma commit. So if they can identify him and make sure they have a good plan for either shadowing or traveling with him, he might line up in the slot, he might line up out wide. So finding ways to limit his ability to play deep ball, to be the deep ball receiver, and then controlling the ball and making sure that they don't have it back on offense. We're a big play offense as of right now, and we have guys like Darian Dominic, who are ready to go deep with the ball, but we want nice short things underneath, controlling that time of possession and really being able to limit how much they can set the tempo of the game and playing Fleming Island football. That's the most important thing and how we can win this game.
I would agree. Special teams has to continue to be consistent. Got to have those extra points. It's all going to matter. And I would be prepared for the instance of having to kick a field goal. I wouldn't doubt that, we'd have to set up for 1 or 2. I don't think we're going to have the big game that we had last week in terms of the running attack. It's not going to be those explosive runs, 25, 30, 40 yards. I think we need to prepare for a little bit more of a grind. So special teams has got to step up. Defense has to continue to play lights out, especially against the run. They did a really good job last week, and you don't want your defense to be suspect to a heavy grind run game. Force them to throw the ball. And that's where a player like Caleb Singleton is going to come into play. An absolute shutdown corner in the making right now, as he has really stepped his game up over the past 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the road play another lights out game. Of course, you got Abram Wright, Joel Robinson, just the absolute animals. Brendan Cook could probably come in and play defense at this point. He'd come in and play linebacker if you wanted him to. So he's also been a force on both sides of the ball, at least offense and special teams for sure. So that's a big one, but we have to go back to the offense. We need to see not just Sam now, but now we need to see that entire running back core. I imagine that your workhorses are going to be Singleton and Marshall, but you've got 2 great guys behind them that can help you run by committee. Also, I think they'd be really good in short passing situations, coming out in flare patterns, checkdowns if Broughton needs it. They're great utility receivers that you could even line them up in a slot. and have them convert for you. So that's important. But number one on my list, and I'm sure it's yours too, is the worm. We've got to see Cibastian Broughton truly become an outright dual threat quarterback. We saw echoes of that last week. The big time arm, some crisp throws in the pocket, nice stand up and throw to the back of the end zone. He's already done that over the last 2 weeks. A couple of really long runs, one for touchdown, a 32-yarder last week. So we know he's a dual threat quarterback. Now we need to see some more of that production and spread the ball out a little bit more. You've got the horses to keep up with it. So let's do it. And his leadership, again, working to see one more step up. Is he going to keep his guys motivated on the field far enough from home and make a not to make a mountain out of a molehill here, but I want to see a little bit more of that feistiness, that shouting, that, getting his players up, getting back to the line of scrimmage. Because one thing that it didn't bite us in the butt, because there were a lot of offsetting penalties, but those after the play unsportsmanlike personal fouls, the after the play shenanigans, they've got to stop those, got to cut it to a minimum, because one thing that will kill you on a road game is forcing yourself behind the sticks for silly mistakes. So discipline with capital D's on that one. You cannot emphasize that enough. So it's prediction time. I got my butt handed to me last week in the scoring drive.
Oh, and you're going first this time, man. Good luck.
I got crushed. So, because I thought the game would be much closer than it was. Boy, was I wrong. And Dave underestimated just by a little bit. But no, I think this week I'm going to stick with my slightly conservative pick. I think the Fleming Island's going to do really good on offense. I think that they might have a little bit of a slow start, but I'm going to say they're going to throw 28 on the board. But I say this is another close game. I say 28-21. Fleming Island wins in a second half melee and comes out on top on the feet of Sam Singleton.
I think this is going to be a slugfest, personally. I really like the talent level. Everything is stepped up, just like you'd said. The discipline and things need to act perfectly, and it's doing it against a much tougher quality of opponent. I'm going to go with 10-14. I think it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game. I think our defense is going to have to dominate. I'm hoping that there's not a whole lot of big plays on their part, but I'm going with Fleming Island with an edge. And let's make it 10-13. I think they scored 2 touchdowns, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do more on offense with this level of talent on the other side. So I'm going 13-14, Fleming Island over Rickards.
All right, let's see if that score holds. We hope that it turns out much better. I'm a little bit more positive about my scoring. I think this is going to be some offensive play, a little bit of a shootout, but not as explosive as we saw last week. There's going to be 40 points on the field, but I don't think one team's going to get them. I think this is going to be spread around. Defense is going to be too good as long as they keep playing the way they did. Just that lights out, ball hawk, get on it, and just go. And again, you'll see that live on Florida Sports Broadcasting. Ray has already jumped on it, and we've got games scheduled for you. So go over to our YouTube page, and or you can link over it from floridasportsbroadcasting.com, and go ahead and schedule your notifications now so you can get alerted when we go live over on FSB. It's a great opportunity for you to showcase your friends and family. Hey, this is my son out here playing football. Spread the word, because that's a long drive. That's 2.5 hours, and then you got to turn around and come home after that.
Personally, go to the game. Go to the game for sure. Go to the game.
Yeah,
but yeah.
No, we appreciate everybody watching last week and the week prior, and we'll continue to bring you that great live coverage, and of course in support of the friends and family who can't be at the game because of the distance. But if you can make out the trip, please come on down. Let's get some Golden Eagle faithful there making some noise and cheering on our boys to hopefully what's a big victory. But if not, hope you're yelling really loud over at Mr. Chubby's. So shout out to Vito and his entire staff for airing the game over there at Chubby's and for visiting with us on Friday night. It was great to meet him in person. And yep, there were people watching the game at Chubby's. We were not speaking to air, so I love that. And keep up the good work, and we'll be back. Tentatively, thinking about maybe doing one of these at Chubby's one day. So that'd be nice. The mango habanero wings, a couple of cold ones, talk football. I'm all in for that. So, and final thoughts before we jump off on another edition of the Screaming Eagle.
They better be ready to come to play on defense. The game's going to be a lot faster. And football season, the appetizers are done. I think this is the first version of the main course.
Yeah, tune-up's over. If it's not clean by now, going to be hard to clean it up. Well, that's it. Fingers crossed. We're on the road to Tallahassee again, live on FSB, 6:45 pregame show, 7 o'clock kick, weather permitting. We've already gotten used to saying that, at least through the months of September and half of October. But nonetheless, for Brian Paul, David Wells, remember, kids, it's not peer pressure. It's just your turn. From the shores of the St. John's, we say, go Eagles, soar higher, and we will see you on Friday night.